Okay, good evening. This is the March 8th Solid Waste and Recycling Commission meeting at 7 o'clock. And we're going to first have a Pledge of Allegiance.
We all stand.
Please.
Okay.
And identify a flag someplace near you. I pledge allegiance. We can all say it together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
And if we could take a moment to remember those who've lost their lives during COVID and those who've lost their lives for the support and the protection of our town, state, and country. Okay, so is Ed with us? Is Ed Bowman with us?
No, we at the meeting with John. Ed did say he was coming, and John said he wanted Ed to be there. So I'm sure he'll be.
Okay, so when he joins in, he can join in the meeting. Okay, so we have the minutes of February 8th, 2021, which everybody I believe has received. We talked about we talked about a lot of things, and John, of course, was discussing a lot of things with us. Has everybody seen the minutes? Any comment on them?
Yes, I have.
This is a February 8th meeting.
Yeah, I have a comment.
Go ahead, Joe.
The funding for because I think I had to leave early at that meeting. Does the funding for the program for the haulers to be reviewed? The contract. Where's the funding coming from? I didn't understand that part. What was that about?
Where are you? What are we on?
It said haulers contract. There was a contract.
Yeah, what item are you on?
I don't know, where is it? Following schedule to review. Somewhere in the middle. I don't see it right now. Yeah, I thought I saw it. I don't see it right now. That was from Misty. Funding program. They're looking all the way at the bottom. At item number 6. Item number 6. They're looking
Guy
into
can
ways
talk
of
about
funding.
that when he does the subcommittee report. Yeah.
Oh, okay, but that was in that was in the February meeting. So
yeah.
How did that come up? What is that? Okay, it doesn't matter. It'll come up again, I guess. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. No, he has a question about the minutes, so we have to approve the minutes. What they're talking about there is new minutes, new business that Missy was discussing with respect to a suggestion that one of the members of the public introduced, and the comment was, or the statement in the minutes were, this will help residents be aware of what can be recycled, and they, meaning Becky Bennell's group, are looking into ways of funding that program. The program is a concept of including stickers.
Yeah, I didn't know who they were referring to. That's my.
Yeah, that's the other group that Misty is working with, that Becky is working with. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions about the minutes? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to accept the minutes as listed for February 8th, 2021 meeting.
Yeah, I'll make the motion, Joe.
Okay, need a second?
Aye.
That's Mike?
Aye.
Guy.
Okay.
Guy said it.
Right. All those in favor?
Aye.
And all those opposed? Hearing no opposition, unanimous. The motion passes to accept the minutes of February. Okay, let's go on to the old business. There's a lot of items that are on the old business agenda because the February meeting went over quite a bit overtime. So, update on the. We're going to wait for Ed to come talk to us about the Silver Petroselli Associates. So when Ed comes in, we'll go back to that. Okay. The first 3 items. Let's make a comment on the overtime status and the audit results. I think that dovetails into one of my points, which is the 4th one from the bottom, the management report. You all got a copy of the audit of the quote audit report from the internal auditor. I think our consensus is that on many of the aspects we weren't happy about. So what I'd like to do is discuss when we get further down the generation of a management report, find out what exactly reports they're generating now to town management, in other words, to the first selectman and to the board of selectmen, and rather than make them do other work or extra work, see if that information is going to help us develop a, I don't want to say hands-on, but I do want to say comprehensive understanding of what the solid waste and recycling department is doing each month, so that we're not in a situation that we found last year of having to scrap major components of the operation and incur major costs. So that's the audit results. My comment on that. If we could go down to discuss new proposed reporting relationships. Okay, well, that's another one with Ed. Okay, well, now we're right to the management report. So do I hear any discussion on generating or preparing or developing a management report so that the Solid Waste Recycling Commission every month gets a report from management as to what it's done, what its key factors are, how it's managing itself, and what the issues and problems are. As a background to that, every other department in the town supplies its commission with a management report. As long as I've been on this commission, I've never seen one. We were kind of beholden to the representative of the department to either tell us what's going on or answer questions if we could think of questions. Many times we don't know what questions to think of because we didn't know that they had major problems going on. So do I hear any comments?
Well, who is the management at this time, since it's a transition period? Who is going to make that report?
The management report, if we decide to go with a management report, I would venture to say that we would decide that we want this management report to be presented to us, and it's the town's responsibility to tell us who the manager is. As of right now, we understand it's John, and he's a very competent person with a lot of experience and a lot of input, and I don't see any issue there. But suppose
so you don't need to subcontract another agency to do that.
Absolutely not.
John,
no. This, in my opinion, this is a normal operating management report. The fire chief gives the report to his commission. The police chief gives the report to his commission.
Is that like an audit, Hugh?
No,
like an audit report, or
it's
management report? Operational.
So, this is Andrew. If I could step in. So basically, what Mike was, in short terms, what Mike was doing, but you know, the town department head that's in charge of our commission is supposed to be reporting to us each month, and this is just putting a formal request to make sure that's done. I mean, I fully support it. I think it's a good idea, and I think that they need to be representing themselves to us in in these meetings, and that's that just needs to be relayed to them.
I thought you were going to be developing the guidelines for the management report, Hugh. Isn't that the whole purpose of, to meet with somebody from the town so that we can make sure we get somebody on top of this?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, right. Okay, but you're going to...
So you're in favor of that? You're in favor of it? Okay.
Yeah, I think we all are. That we'd like to know.
Well, no, I want to make sure that the commission is united, because this is understand that they have been going through. I know you all understand. I'm not trying. They've been going through a management quote reorganization. A lot of things have changed. We're going to be coming to them saying, okay, guys, you've done this management reorganization, but now we want a management report. We haven't got it. So I need the support of the commission that we're going to work for this and expect it. I think it's something that we should have, quite honestly, we should have been getting all along. Because how else can we do our job in helping the town and helping the commission without knowing what's going on?
Right.
So, any other comments?
Hey, excuse me. This is Tim Besler. I have Ed Bowman just called me. He's been trying to get into this meeting. He's calling the 701-801-6166. He can't get in. Can anyone help him?
Okay, he's calling 701-801-6166.
Yeah, he said he hears music.
And okay, he has to dial the PIN 12342
Wait,
and
no,
then
pound. Only the administrator had to dial the PIN. So only you had to dial the PIN as the host. When we come in, it's music, and then it puts you into the call.
Okay, well, he should be able.
That you need to access.
Okay, he should be able to get on then.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Well, he might have to unmute with the *6. Unmute it.
I'd like for someone to call Ed. Let me give you his cell phone number if you don't have it. It's 203-767-0939. Someone, if you want him to be part of this meeting, someone call him and give him instructions on how to do this.
Hey, Andrew, can you give him a call?
I'm gonna go on mute. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give him a call.
Okay, thank you. Okay, who do we have on? Tim, we got you on, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, no, I told Ed's hanging up. I said someone will call him and help him get into this thing. Again, this is one of the reasons I'm a little frustrated about not being on WebEx. You know.
I understand.
Okay. But I'm going to go on mute again. But someone call Ed, and then he'll be in the meeting.
Tim,
he's a big part
Tim,
of it.
I didn't get his number right. Can you give me his number one more time? I apologize.
It's 203-767-0939.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, because I have a different number here. Okay, thanks. Tim, thank you for sending out that list of contacts, too. Okay, so anyway, I need to know, who do we have on the call right now? Because I want to make sure we still have a quorum.
Misty?
Well, Tim, I'm on. I'm on mute right now, so that's one.
Okay, so we have myself, Joe, Misty, and Mike, and Tim, right?
Yeah, Mike's there. Mike, are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah, there we are.
Okay, good. Okay, I just want to make sure that we are satisfied on our requirements.
Yeah, it was
all right.
Nuts.
So, can we go back to the report? Can I ask a question?
Who's this?
Mike Pasowitz.
Mike, go ahead.
Hey, guys, it's Andrew. I think I merged Ed in with my call, and he should be on now, so we should have everybody. Ed, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You hear me?
Okay, all right, good. Everybody's here. We're just on a conference call on my phone, so that should work.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Mike, go ahead with your last question.
Okay. When we talk about this report, whether I know Mike is no longer with us, there's no director. I really don't think it matters, or it's kind of moot about the way I'm going to phrase this. Doesn't the director, whoever is responsible for the facility, send a report to the select person already?
Well, I don't know
that report.
That's exactly what we're going to find out. As I said in the beginning, is that we want to find out what management report is currently being prepared and sent to the first select lady currently, and maybe we could just piggyback on that. I don't want to have to create a cumbersome thing where we want something different. If we see the report that they're currently issuing, or maybe because John is responsible for more than just solid waste, right? So maybe just one page out of his report, right? We don't need to know all the other stuff, what's going on in Public Works. It's not our concern. But maybe just one section out of his report that might give us the bones or the backbone of what we need.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I mean, there's got to be a report already being generated. I didn't hear you say that earlier. All right, thank you.
Okay, good point. Any other comments on that item? Okay. Ed, welcome. How are you?
Very good.
Okay, I'm sorry you had trouble getting in. Ed, we have a couple of items on our agenda for the old business.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Okay, the Silver Petroselli Associates. Can you give us an update on that, a thumbnail sketch on what that study was all about and what's going on with it?
It's still in the process. I mean, right now I just got a notification from them last week. The snow melted. They went on site last Thursday, Friday to do a survey of the site.
And the last we heard from them, they did do an initial report, and it was just a general report that didn't satisfy John or I very much at all. It was basically it was a statement of the condition of the building and the grounds, which we already knew, but
right,
and which it's terrible. What it basically said was, I had before that we had the building department go through, and it's just code deficient everywhere. Example: there is no bathroom in the building.
Right.
It was removed. There is no ability to heat the building. The boiler was removed. There is no the electric service of the building is totally deficient. There's stairways that are sort of collapsing in the building. The roof is leaking. Drainage doesn't work.
And can I interrupt you 1 minute?
Yeah.
Can we operate with people in there without a lavatory facility and a heating system?
What they have is a porta toilet.
But the porta potties are across the parking lot.
Pardon?
The porta potties are across the parking lot.
Yeah, that's their porta potty. It has been for years. Now, without the heat, it doesn't much different. The heat, the doors are never closed. They don't care about the heat.
Right.
Uh-huh.
They like to have facilities, bathroom facilities.
Yeah.
And I think that makes sense. The other big.
Well, how do they wash their hands? How do they wash their hands?
That's a good question. I have the faintest.
I'm not being facetious.
I know you're not. That's a good question. I don't know. No one ever paid attention to it till last year. That's what I'm honest with.
Yeah.
Chairman Hugh, I have a question. Simple question. Yep. I know this changed. We used to have one full-time employee down there, and then I think 5 part-timers that were always there, or 4.
Yeah, there's no full-time employee. There is no full-time employee. And there's like 4 part-time employees plus
their hours
by extras by special police.
Okay.
Do
they need a facility to eat their lunch, or do they go off the facility, off the place?
I think they eat. I have no idea.
You don't know? Well, these important. We're his commission members.
Our employees probably eat their lunch in a car or go to Bud's Deli.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah.
So what responsibility do we have for the contractors that are operating the machinery and the compactors to provide them with sanitary facilities?
It's their responsibility to provide it.
Theirs?
Yeah, it's our responsibility. Here's the problem. They didn't complain for 10 years. They just did it. Right. Now it's our responsibility. Here's the problem, as I see it. I went down to Westport and looked at their facility. About 8 or 9 years ago, CRA turned it over to the towns. Okay. And at that point, Westport spent a lot of money upgrading their facility. They took a look and realized, we didn't do that. We spent no money.
Right.
Now we're in the problem we're in now. We have to spend the money. There's no way they shouldn't have indoor bathrooms and wash facilities.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Okay.
Or a lunchroom.
Okay.
There is a room there, but the roof leaks into the room. It can't be used. It's like
I saw the day I was there was rated and the water was poured into the roof.
Yeah.
And we're talking about that room where the compactors are, where everybody works, right? Or where are you talking
above
about?
it, not in that room, but above it, there's a
little office. Yeah.
So our number one priority, if we ever get the Super Petrocelli total report,
are they working on it? When do they expect to? When do you expect them to finish it, finalize it?
I'd say in the next month or two.
And is this already funded? Is there money already funded for that program? For that project?
Yeah, and I think to me part of the problem was that they were hired to do it, but they have no experience in these kind of facilities. They're just architects, engineers. So it's been a learning experience for them too. But the biggest thing is the doors. We're never going to replace those doors. They're going to stay open. Every single facility around the state that has this type of operation, those doors never close.
Okay.
So that's like $200,000 to restore the doors. There's no reason for it. The only
why spend that money?
Garbage on the.
Why spend that money?
That's right. The only reason for it was if there was garbage on the floor, keep mice and rats and things. But it's required by the permit. There's nothing on the floor, nothing in the carpet. It's clean every night, so that works, and that's been the case everywhere. So that's part of the discussion we have with Silver Petrosilla. Their first thing was repair the doors, which makes sense, but it's not making sense for this type of facility. So that will never happen. It's the electrical system upgrade, the power system upgrade, and another thing is, believe it or not, that building is in a 100-year floodplain. To me, it looks so high, it isn't, but it is. So the power servicing that building on the outside has to be raised above the 100-year floodplain. And that's true in a lot of town buildings.
Well, do we have to? Would you say it has to be raised? Is that dependent on a percentage of construction or new construction, or does that have to be done as a matter of course?
As a matter of course, yeah. It's not a code requirement; it's a sensible requirement.
Okay. The town obviously knows about that because look at all the other construction they're doing over at the water treatment plant.
Right.
Primarily because of elevation.
Yeah, and we're completely protecting that from a 200-year flood.
You're right.
Okay. Part of the problem is you get further you go, and we could protect this too, but there's no demand from the town to protect the transfer station. Because even when we're protecting the sewage treatment plant, it would create an island. People couldn't get to the sewage treatment plant from Reef Road. They'd be underwater.
Exactly.
So it's and by Berry Street you can get to it. But so the main thing is the electrical, the code stuff, the bathroom, and the drainage. The drains are really right. For some reason, we found that, which we did not know, there were drains on the tipping floor that when CRA owned it, they shut them down, paved them over. We need drains from there. It's crazy.
Where's the discharge go to?
Ed, where do those drain to?
Right now, we have downstairs drains through an oil water separator into another pipe and then into a pipe that actually drains into Long Island Sound.
Okay, but there is an oil water separator already in place for those, so we won't have to worry about any major
overhaul. There, right.
Okay.
And they maintain that, right.
Okay.
Are there drains in the compactor wells, too, that go out?
Yeah.
And
everything down the bottom goes out.
And do they go directly, you said directly into the sound? They don't go to the treatment?
Well, they go through the oil water separator, then they do go into the sound after that, yeah.
They don't go into the treatment center?
No. Remember, these were built in the 1970s. No one paid attention.
That's not uncommon for a lot of.
Wow.
That's not uncommon as you get closer to the beach area, though, Joe. That's not uncommon with the stormwater system in town.
But I think that's one thing we will address is putting it through the treatment plant. Because on the yard waste site, down, there we process all the yard waste.
Right.
Where the grinding and shredding goes on, it goes into a drain, and we connect it to the treatment plant.
And if those drains,
at a later time,
if those drains on the dumping,
we did, Excuse me.
If those drains on the dumping floor were opened, where do those drains discharge to?
They go downstairs and do the same thing. Drains downstairs to the oil water separator to the Long Island Sound.
Okay. All right.
Well, this is Tim. That is incredible. It doesn't go to the treatment plant across the street, but
yep.
I hear what you're saying.
Well,
Ed, who's going to be responsible for setting priorities and carrying this plan forward? I mean,
I would hope that once we get it, we go over with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's going to fall on them and us making some joint decisions, if I'm correct.
Okay,
Ed, I have a question. One question, Ed. Do you think the Shellfish Commission knows about that drainage that goes directly into the?
I don't know, but you know what? There's
they should know about that.
I'll guarantee you, in that going around through Pine Creek and that area, there's got to be 15 pipes that drain into little drainage ditches that just flow into Pine Creek and to Long Island. They're all over the place.
Right. Thanks for telling us that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's more common than you think, unfortunately.
I will say we go clamming, and I know the Shellfish Commission closes their beach a lot, and maybe this is the reason.
Yeah, after the rains, basically. But wow.
Okay, can we move on to the overtime status and audit result?
All right.
And that was the second item, a review of the overtime status in the department.
Well, that's just about gone now.
There's no
overtime. Basically was from last year when the compactors were down and being replaced and all. Now there's very, very little overtime now.
Okay.
We have a third person there a few hours a week. That wasn't in the contract. We added in because when it's crowded, you need a third person, like on Saturday and different places up there. So we're paying overtime for a third person to be there, but that's like $2,400 a month. So
a third operator.
It's $2,400 a month. That's the number we were given, but whatever. Yeah.
Well, we were getting like $15,000-$20,000 overtime for a while.
Right.
Yeah. No, we know that. So the third person comes in.
Can I ask? So this third person, this is a negotiated rate that's in their contract for the hours that we're paying, correct?
Yeah,
they're not added to the contract, but someone's reviewed the hourly rate that they're charging for this extra person, correct? I think our main concern with these overtime rates is when we were asking about it, there was no information as far as the what
but that I do have now. I can get you that.
Yeah. Oh, this goes back before you. I just mean.
Oh, I know, but I mean,
we were looking for clarity.
In investigating it, now I know what the overtime, and I forgot about that third person,
But you guys have deemed that that's necessary during these time periods.
Yeah, and it's a reasonable rate too.
Okay, good. Okay, the next item. Any other questions on that? The next item that we're talking about is the town dump activity monthly report. And you had missed our initial conversation on it, but we would like to get a management report of the transfer station activity, a monthly report of the transfer station activity. Is there a report right now that's generated?
No, but I think
that probably goes to the first select lady.
Basically the only reports that are generated are the bills.
Hang on 1 minute.
You get the bills from Enviro, the bills from the recycling people, you get the bills anyway. Tonnage in, tonnage out. And that's the activity report. I'm not sure. Is that what you mean?
Well, what we're looking for is a management report that would show the activity of the dump, which would be the tonnage, the relationship of plastics, the metals, the sale of those items, personnel changes, that kind of thing. So, and any kind of monthly breakdown or monthly issues that are coming up. Those would be the things that we would expect to be at a. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Monthly income, all right?
But the recycling, is basically just the recycling out. There's no breakdown of glass, paper,
right?
None at all. The only breakdowns we have, the small things we have the metal we have electronics recycling, we have clothing recycling, we have things like that, oil. We do have that. But
so what is currently, is there a report that's currently issued to the Board of Selectmen or to the First Select Lady as to the operations? Nothing.
No, there isn't.
Okay.
I've never asked for one.
Okay. All right.
So
we may be the first.
We can generate it.
Yeah, we may be the first. So I'm going to with the commission's approval, I think I'll meet with you and John and develop what we would like to see in a monthly management report. Hopefully, obviously will be stuff.
Know what you want to see, right?
Right, exactly. Okay.
Well, I have a question about that. Yeah, so where would that report would come to the commission? We'll look at it, oversight, but then where does it go? The select woman? In the past, I know because it never went. Mike used to give the report maybe every 6 months. He used to go and meet with Tetro at that time. But where would?
Well, no, Joe. What I'm contemplating, I think what we're discussing is that the report would come to us, and it would stay with us. The report, it's an information tool for us.
All right. Okay. All right. So it comes.
I mean,
that's fine.
Would think that
we can share with the select.
In my mind, you generate a report you want. It comes to you. If you see problems, then you go to the first select one.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no. If we saw problems, if we saw issues or problems, we come back to you people first.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Eventually it works its way up, and it should be worked up through you.
Right. Okay. Okay. Any other questions for Ed?
Well, Hugh, on that, I'm sorry, it's Mike Pasowitz again. I'm assuming you would be okay if we all send you ideas of what we might want to see on that report.
Exactly what we need.
Okay,
Mike. Send them to me, and then I'll put them together.
Okay. Yeah, because I could come up with a 30-page report, which would be ridiculous. Tell me what you need.
Right. Right.
And Mr. Chairman, I think we should again look at that as commission members and decide which items are important, which are not.
Well,
right.
Hey,
let me. Can I make a suggestion to the commission? I would like to have a small committee, maybe myself and one or two others of you, to be part of this management report thing. I don't want it to be a long, drawn out, 3, 4, 5 month thing, but just so that we get the input of everybody, we agree on what we need, and it's doable, it's workable, and it's cost effective. I'm not trying to get them to do work that I don't want them to jump through hoops for us, but we need information to help manage the operation. So, would anybody like to join a small committee like that, a subcommittee?
Hey, Hugh, may I make a suggestion for you? Form a committee. It's Guy.
Who, Tim?
Could you just invite? It's Guy. Just invite everybody's input on what we should have.
Okay.
We can just give it to you, and I'm sure there'll be some overlap, and you can decide. But I wouldn't want to cut anybody out by creating a committee. Just ask everybody for their input.
Yeah, that's what I was basically saying too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Mike Pace.
Misty, any comment?
With Guy. I agree with Guy.
I think that's a good idea.
You don't really need a committee.
That's the way to go.
Okay, good. Okay.
Agreed.
Okay. Thank you. The next item is Misty. You're going to talk about sustainable Fairfield? Oh, no, I'm sorry. The next one is Guy Gleason. Guy, you're going to talk about the Education Outreach Committee.
Yeah. So this is a report out on the meeting that we had with John Marstilio and Ed Bowman. And we talked about a bunch of things, and I'm just going to run through them. And it's all good news, I think. First, on signage, there were 2 issues on signage. The transfer station, which a number of commission members noted is sorely lacking, and John Marstilio agreed that the signage at the transfer station needs to be improved, and he's working on that. There was also the proposal from a member of the public and also a member of another commission, Becky Funnel, on getting the haulers engaged to put signage.
Hey, Guy. Guy.
Yeah.
Guy, I want to interrupt you. Would somebody put their phone on mute? There's a lot of background noise. There's a lot of background noise. So somebody's moving a lot of stuff around. If you can put your phone on mute. Okay, Guy, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yep. Okay. So the other item was the proposal from Becky on working with the haulers to put signage on recycling totes to improve the quality of material that goes in there and to reduce the amount of contaminants. And it turns out that John and probably Ed too had already been thinking about this. And John had suggested that maybe getting an intern to do something like that during the summer to follow, or interns plural, to follow the haulers. Because the haulers themselves have resisted apparently doing this. The main point is that John's already thought about it and wants to work through an idea of maybe how to get it done. And I'm going to come back to how we follow up on that. One of the things that Misty had talked about on several different meetings was removing glass from our system and trying to get involved with the urban mining in Beacon Falls, Connecticut.
Hey, Guy, before you continue that, can I ask a question about the last one?
Of course.
What did John says he might be getting an intern, and the haulers were resisting. Were they resisting on the basis of cost or what?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. So it's a time is money thing. The haulers, generally speaking, aren't getting out of their trucks. So the idea of going to them and asking them to put the stickers on totes seemed less viable. That's what they were resisting. What John was saying was maybe in place of that, having an intern do it. They weren't resisting the idea of the label, just the cost associated with taking the time to do it. Time is money.
Yep. Okay.
How would that be involved in signage all over the place, wherever the signage is going to be?
What's
the connection?
I think, Joe, this is the part that you may not have been on the call for last time. There's a specific proposal to put labels on recycling totes in individual homes that better identify what should go in a bin and what should not go in a bin for recycling.
Where would they be placed?
It'd be an adhesive sticker on the tote itself. So if you have
so who would bring that to the homeowners? How would that?
That's what we're talking about.
How would that be?
That's what he's talking about.
Okay, you don't know. We don't know yet. Okay.
No, right. What John Marsilio's idea at the moment is to perhaps employ a summer intern to follow the haulers and to put those stickers on the totes when they're out at curbside.
No. Okay.
Hey, Guy.
Yes.
Can I say something here? Because we're talking about it in full committee. I think there's a lot of issues with that particular strategy because a lot of the recycle bins are inside people's garages, and the recycle bins are not being put at curbside, which is a problem. So I think we need to have a connection to the haulers and maybe have a survey about a couple of things that would maybe resolve what they would or wouldn't do. I think their big concern is they don't want it to be coming from them. They want it to be coming from the town because they can see the abuse in the recycle, and they know it's very important that we start to clean up this mess. Apparently 50% that Oak Ridge processes goes to the burn plant at this point. So in any case, I think they have a great incentive to getting the mess out of the recycle bin. So I think without asking them or surveying them, I think we're making an assumption that might not be true. And I just think to say a summer intern's going to run around after the trucks might not work.
Well,
right. So let me
also for that, if you're going to have glass, you need another bin. They would have to provide another blue.
Oh well, that's a whole different. The glass.
Joe, Misty, please let's stay on point here. Right.
Well, that's
I'm
the
reporting
point.
out on the meeting, and we can have a discussion afterwards about what other alternatives there are. But John Marsilio has an idea how to attack this, and I'm going to come back to the follow-up with him, and I think there's a channel there.
Yeah, and he knows we've got to deal with the haulers, too.
Yeah.
Right.
John was very clear. He understands that the July renewal is up. He understands that there's leverage there. I think we, based on the conversation we had with John and Ed, what we really need to do is make sure that we follow up with them and pose the questions that you just had to them. I don't know that we need an independent, separate effort. To the point when Hugh first asked us to do this, we're trying to make sure that we don't do things that are already being worked on, and it's pretty clear that John already has an idea about how to work on this.
Thank you, Guy. I appreciate that. I like the way that you're going with it. I do have a question. Have you guys put together any analysis as to what the scope of the problem is? In other words, what percentage waste could we eliminate? Could we redirect by having correct labels? Does anybody have any gut estimates?
Well, hey,
he said 50%, but I don't think we're talking about 50%.
So Hugh, the data is there. If we wanted to get it, we could. Oak Ridge could tell us in an instant how much of their recycled stream, what percentage contaminant is in there. They could do that in a heartbeat. That data is all there.
I just talked to Oak Ridge today. It's 50%. 50%.
We could, by putting signage on, we could correctly direct 50% of what's in the containers?
No, we're talking 50% of what we take up to Oak Ridge right now. All these communities, it's getting sorted, and then 50% goes to the burn plant.
That's not contamination.
But is that connected to the signage?
No, it has nothing to do with the signage. Signage is
okay. No, that's nothing to do with it.
I don't want to mix issues here. I'm trying to keep the issue clear. All right, go ahead. I don't think
all the glass is going there. Nowhere else to put it until urban mining gets up.
Okay.
I think the distinction is when you send material to Oak Ridge to be sorted, it does not have a 50% contamination rate, but 50% of it has no value, so it goes back to be burned.
Right.
Gotcha.
We pay for contamination.
Yeah.
Okay, so is our signage going to eliminate that 50% and send it right to the burn plant?
No. The goal
should we be doing that?
You want to improve the rate of you want to make sure that people know that they should be putting aluminum cans, so you want to improve the recovery rate of aluminum cans, and you want to make sure they don't put plastic bags in their bins because that damages and fouls up the sorting equipment. You're just trying to get a better stream. It doesn't address whether or not there's value to the products at the end. That's a market question.
Well, I have a question. I still don't know how that impacts the homeowner. Right now, I have one blue bin, and plastic and aluminum and glass goes into that. Do they separate and discriminate all those different streams? Who does that right now?
Oak Ridge does that.
Oak Ridge does it. Oak Ridge has to do it.
Are we sort of pushing for homeowners to have separate bins for these items, these three different streams?
No. What we're saying is, we're going to have a label. It's going to be very simple, but if you have Tetra Pak juice boxes, don't put those in your bin. Put aluminum. Do put glass. Do put cans. Don't put plastic bags in there. It's a do and don't.
Right. Usually don't do that. Right.
Nothing changes.
Okay.
The problem is we went to single stream recycling and nobody knows what is good and what is bad. So everybody just puts everything like, oh, it's plastic, it can go in, and it's not that simple.
Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest abuses is the fact that everybody puts their recycles in a plastic bag. Once it's in a plastic bag,
jams the machine.
They won't open.
But guys, isn't that part of our education outreach?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So really what we want to do, we don't want them to stop recycling. We simply want a label that says, do not put these kind of things in this box. Right? No, none of the Tetra Paks, none of the plastic, nothing with plastic bags. No, right? We want a negative label.
Right.
We don't want them to stop recycling.
That's right.
Exactly.
Well, can the town do that in terms of educational outreach by just sending out flyers or mailers?
Well, yes. May I continue, because I think Don had a lot to say on this, and
go ahead.
If I can go.
Guy, go ahead. We're sorry.
Yeah. No. So in fact, John talked about.
I'm not sorry. I want to know.
No. I'm going to go quickly, and then if you would just let me get through this, and then we can have questions, right? So,
okay.
He specifically talked about perhaps sending out a flyer. He would like our input as a commission, and this is a to-do for us, on things that would help improve the website and communication to residents. He also, in this, he brought this up, we didn't, talked about the hazmat day and thinking about that differently and also communicating about it differently. But the other items were with urban mining. We were trying to figure out what we should do. In fact, Ed and John have already started a pilot project with Oak Ridge, with urban mining, to get glass into their system. So that's a check off the box for us, right? It's in place.
Yeah, let me step in here. The whole region, or a regional recycling group, all the towns are doing that. Not just, we're all doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is good.
No, very good. We were sort of wondering why Fairfield wasn't participating, and Fairfield is participating. So there's nothing to follow up on for that. And then the last item we talked about were around food scraps, and I just want to share that we had a good discussion, and John said that he didn't want to be the first in food waste, that he really needed to understand a specific idea. He called it a show me how it works approach. We had some discussion about, collection of food scraps at the transfer station, collection of food scraps at We Care Denali, the composter next door. He's looking for a kind of a solid idea. So I think if we have that, we should share it. But there didn't seem to be a next step. In general, what John suggested was he wanted to get past budget. I'm sure Ed feels this way too. And that he asked the subcommittee to meet again in mid-April. And I think the follow-up for the subcommittee is just to say, essentially, how's it going on signage? How's it going with urban mining? And here's our input for what you should improve on the website.
And then any input on the food scraps.
And yes, if there are proposals on food scraps, I think we should, within our networks, and we should be asking people for specific ideas.
I guess this would go under new business, but
no, we're not in new business yet. We're still in old business.
No, Hugh.
So anyway, Hugh, that's the report out of the committee, and I just would like to, as a request, is we owe John Marsilio and Ed Bowman specific input on how the website could be improved on education and outreach.
Okay. Misty, go ahead.
One of the thoughts that John was sharing was to put something in the tax letter that goes out, but that's going to be pretty soon. So if we could develop a flyer also that talks about some of the major items that we're concerned about that are going into the recycle bin, it might be a good opportunity to get a letter out at a pretty reasonable cost to the consumer.
What do you mean a tax letter? What tax letter are you talking about?
Well, letters that go out with our taxes. They've done this in the past.
Yeah, it's already went out. It went out in January.
Because our quarter.
You mean the tax payments?
The tax bills. You're talking about the tax bills, right?
Properties.
The invoice. Property tax.
Okay, that's a good idea.
I have one problem with that.
Go ahead.
I live in Milford, but my taxes are included in my mortgage payment.
Right.
The bank gets the notice, not me.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people like that too.
Well, a lot of people are signed up to Brenda's the weekly emails or bi-weekly or whatever.
That would be
it's probably it's probably a better platform to start. That the website, the town website, or Facebook pages, things like that is probably a better place to start with some of this. And there's no cost to it, right? So
before I start putting anything in the tax mailing, before we even start deciding how we're going to send it out, we need to come to a conclusion as to what we're going to send out and what the impact is going to be. Because I agree with I think that was Andrew that the first select lady has a weekly COVID update that a lot of people have been reading, and at the end of that she dumps in a lot of things that I think are getting to be extraneous, and this could be something that could be quite positive. But we need to have all of our ducks in order and know that we have the right thing. But I like that idea.
If I can, this is Tim. If I can add something to what was said, I think we're probably not going to get a lot. I think because of the budgeting going on right now, mid-April is when we agreed to get together with John and Ed again. But one of the things I stated in the meeting, and I still believe, none of the changes are going to happen without mandates from the state and the town. But I think the most important thing we can do as a commission, as a subcommittee, is to get the education out. A lot of people don't understand what we're even talking about. And however we do it, I think we should take some positive steps to, however the best way to do it is let people understand what is going on with the problems with single stream and with glass and food waste and all that. And I think it's going to take a little time, though, till we get past this budgeting period.
Right, I agree with you. One of the things we should remember, John told us last month, is many of the problems in the solid waste recycling in Fairfield County have originated up in Hartford. And by that he meant, quite specifically, that this constant change in single stream, take it out, take it in, add these big boxes, take away the big boxes, that has confused people. So we have a lot of people, I know personally, who want to recycle and who want to be environmentally conscious. And that's why those blue boxes are filled with so many different things. Now they, as to buttress what Tim just said, they have no idea that some company called Oak Ridge is taking it up to some place called Shelton or wherever, Oxford, wherever they're taking it, and they're sorting it through, and then 50% of it is coming right back to the next door neighbor in town. They have no idea of that. So we have to identify the problem, which is your committee's work, and then come up with a educational message, and then we can get the outreach out there. So I'm in favor of that.
The other part of that would be cheaper to take it there and burn it.
Yeah.
Does it need to be voted on?
No. Here's what needs to be voted on, people. We need to accept. We need to go finish that up, and then Ed, do you have anything else you want to add to us?
No, I think I'm good listening. You guys have a lot of good ideas.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate you being here. Truly do. Will you be able to come to the April meeting?
Oh, of course.
Okay, good.
Great.
The reason I wasn't there in February is I forgot.
Yeah, that's okay. No problem. Okay, Misty, I think somebody wanted to introduce new business.
No, may I ask Ed a question?
Yeah.
It's Guy. Can you tell us who is going to take over the recycling coordinator position?
From what I understand, that position and Mike's position is eliminated. Period.
Yeah, but it's a DEP requirement that every town have a recycling coordinator.
I have no idea on that.
Well, no, John said he's taking it over.
Yeah, it's got to be John. Who else?
John Marsilio told us that he's taking it over.
But he's
the recycling coordinator position.
Yeah, because he's the public work. He's the acting public works director. So it means anything that isn't specific, it's going to be piled on top of him, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Fun.
Well, guys, ladies and gentlemen, one of the reasons and we said this early on. I think a couple of meetings ago. We're here to help John and to help Ed.
Yes.
And one of the things that we had no input with respect to the quote reorganization end quote. We had no input at all. We weren't asked our opinion. We were told that the guy who's running the meetings isn't going to be there tomorrow morning. None of that. So our management reporting process and our understand or come to the conclusion that maybe this reorganization left something to be desired, and maybe they need more assistance. That might be a conclusion of what the commission may have to come to. We don't know. I don't know at this point. I don't know if any of us know, but we have to be open to the fact that we may have to tell management that look, the state requires this position to be filled, and you're trying to fill it with people that have significantly other responsibilities. So I'm just throwing that out there. It's part of our responsibility.
My personal perspective, besides the normal politics of all this, the pandemic has upended everything, and what's going on right now, I don't even know where to get my head around it. I mean, hopefully by the mid-year, we'll get back to normal in the pandemic, and some common sense things can be done in this great town.
Agreed. Okay.
Agreed.
Can we go to new business? Anybody have any new business?
Do you want to check out?
You skipped a couple things.
Okay, Joe. Take care. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
You're skipping a couple things.
Hello? Misty,
Hello?
Go ahead with your new business. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure that you all got the CCSMM update. Did you get it? I sent it to everybody, and there's all sorts of interesting seminars and activities that are going around across the state that you might be interested in engaging in. So if you are interested also in getting on their mailing list, there's an email address you can just click into, and you can get on their mailing list. But you all have it in your inbox, so I hope you take a look to see what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. Is there so much noise in the back?
Hughes at the firehouse. So it's a
hang on, guys. Hang on 1 minute. Just hold on to 1 minute. They're just dispatching. Okay, I'm sorry. If I put my phone on mute, I take a risk of ending the meeting. I don't want to do that yet. Okay, go ahead, Misty.
Okay, so anyway, that information is in your inbox. I'm just encouraging you all to look at that. We've got the Sustainable Task Force is doing a tremendous amount of work with they're really hooking up to the CCSMS. They're getting engaged in composting seminars. They're doing food waste recycling, community gardens, and community composting. The reason I'm mentioning all this is that are there rules about why they can't engage in subcommittees? Or is it a ruling, like a formal ruling that they can't? Because for us to work in parallel wouldn't be as effective as if we could be working together. But I don't know if that's against the rules.
So any member of the public can be present and make comment at any of the meetings and taking the proper actions, but a subcommittee, they can't be a member of the subcommittee meeting because they're not part of the commission.
They can be part of our meetings, right? No problem.
No, they can't be I think we can allow them to have comments, so then we can talk back and forth. So, I'm not sure. That might be. We might need to look into that. But
Misty, we could have when we had live meetings, we could have a member of the. We can have a member of the public make a presentation. We can invite in, for example, Oak Ridge. to give us a presentation, just as we invite John and just as we invite Ed. We can invite in a member of the Sustainable Task Force. We can invite in another member of the CCSMM to the commission as part of our public meeting. They're not officially part of the commission and they're not officially part of the subcommittee. But having said that, I want to make sure, and I think we're all on the same page, one of the valuable things I see with your liaison with the Sustainable Task Force is I don't want us spinning our wheels or doing duplicative work that some other informed, responsible group is doing. If somebody else is studying oak leaves dropping off of trees and clogging up the drains, and they're doing a good job doing it, I don't want us to have to study the same thing. So I think that that's one of the strengths of your liaison with us. I don't think that they need or their members need to be part of our committee per se, but to provide background and or advice so that we don't do things that other groups are adequately focusing on or covering, I think is valuable.
Okay, I can't agree with you more. So do you want me to just consolidate reports and then just send it out to the committee? And because I don't want to take all, everybody's time, but I do have a pulse on what they're doing. They are looking at the pay as you throw program. What they're doing with food waste recycling, I think is important to our commission. So as we move along, I think the best place to share that is with the subcommittee.
Okay, food scrap has already been identified by our commissioners as an item we want to look at. So if they have if you find some things, some studies, some analysis, some statistics, and some recommendations that are driven by the facts, driven by the analysis and the studies, then we'll be willing to look at it, and maybe we could piggyback it or adopt it or whatever. I don't want to study food waste if somebody's already done a sufficient study.
Well,
I do know.
Yeah.
I do know that the Pay As You Throw program received a lot of pushback in the suburbs of West Hartford. They introduced it. It wasn't well advertised. It was kind of forced down their throat, and then it was all retracted. So we don't want to do the same types of mistakes that other communities have done with these programs, even though they sound good on the surface. I mean, we're getting to a point that we have people that want to be environmentally conscious, but they don't want us in the kitchen telling them what to do all the time. So we're drawing a fine line. We just want to be aware of that. That's all.
Yes, Guy, how do you feel about having a liaison from the Sustainable Fairfield Task Force through the subcommittee, their subcommittee coming to our subcommittee meeting?
Sounds like a great idea.
Okay, so that's all I needed to get through that, because a lot of this is kind of parallel, and I think we don't want to duplicate our efforts. We want to work together. So just a quick thing, they're looking at Park City Green to do a mattress pickup. I don't know if that's interesting to the commission, but they're looking at trying to do that probably at Veterans Park. They're trying to get that scheduled. And that's all. I mean, they're doing quite a bit of work trying to figure out how we might be able to work with Denali. But we'll talk about that in the subcommittee, okay? That's all I have to report right now.
Well, the subcommittee isn't doing any work on mattresses, is it?
No, I was just reporting on that. You told me to I was supposed to report on the Sustainable Fairfield Task Force, and I think it's interesting for the commission to know that we are trying to have a mattress pickup in town. So,
well, we've been doing that. We've been doing that regularly. The universities have been coordinating mattress pickup. Fairfield and Sacred Heart universities have been coordinating that for years.
Yeah, they're doing it for the universities. They're not doing it for the town. So anyway, it's all right.
Okay.
It's not
all right.
Reporting.
Yep. Any other items?
Well, here's the thing. I think we should definitely start having more of a conversation with the haulers as we move forward. And I'm just throwing this out there to the commission that I think we would benefit in doing something like a Survey Monkey to to find out how haulers are feeling out about the transfer station and the operation of the transfer station, or also some of the issues that they see with recycling, and some of the challenges that they might have. I haven't written a survey up. I don't have it, something that's concrete. But I think in the long run, I think we should be connecting with our haulers as we talk about the transfer station and we talk about things like trying to improve the whole recycling.
That's a good idea. It's a good concept. When we get further on with the Silver Petrocelli and Associates report and find out what the town is willing to consider in order to bring the place up to code, I think maybe that should dovetail with it could possibly dovetail with a mini survey with the haulers and say, because you guys have been impacted by this. Understand that the nature of surveys is that many times you only get out of it what you put into it. And if the survey's not crafted correctly and it doesn't have the right focus, you're going to get a bunch of garbage out of it. And I don't mean to be make a pun there, but so we have to think of that very carefully.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, Hugh, it's Guy. May I offer a thought on that?
Sure.
I think it's important as a commission, if we think that we want to engage with the haulers, we need to talk to John Marsilio and Ed Bowman. It's really their purview to be talking to the haulers. They're the ones that are responsible for the licensing. And so if we want to get results, we need to talk to them and tell them that they need to do a survey and engage the haulers. I don't think the commission should be independently connecting with the haulers. If I were John Marsilio or Ed Bowman, I'd be pretty upset with that.
Well, no, you're right, and I appreciate that. Were you? I don't know if you were. I don't remember, but when we found out about the compactor issue, we found out. Most of us found out by walking into the commission room and seeing 10 angry guys sitting on the chairs, and we had no idea who they were. And my question to somebody was, who's this and what's going on? And they said, you're going to find out in a minute. And that's what we found out, that this issue had been boiling for like 7 months, and we didn't know anything about it. So I appreciate exactly what you're saying, and I understand we have to stay within our bounds. And I don't think that we should be sending out surveys willy-nilly. But I think from what I've seen, most of the haulers would be very happy to know that we're on their side. And we are on their side. We're on the side of them, we're on the side of the town, and we're on the side of the solid waste the department. So I take what you say very well. I think it's good.
Yeah, I'm not really taking any side on it. I'm just saying that as a commission, we need to make our desires clear to John and Ed.
Yep.
And not be doing things independently.
Absolutely, I agree. Anybody else have a comment?
Agreed.
Guy, the point was not to do it independently, but it was just to bring it up as a point of conversation with our commission to see if this is something that we could talk to John and Ed about. I mean, they've got their hands full. I mean, they've got their hands so full.
Yeah. Can I suggest something right now? Until we get, and this is only my opinion, I could be wrong, but until we get a better handle on the management reporting and a better handle on who's going to be operating the facility, and I'm very happy being able to speak with Ed Bowman and have the benefit of his expertise, and John also Marsilio. But until we get a comfortable and a good handle on that and the upcoming Silver Petrocelli, we really have our hands full too, and our outreach committee, our education committee, we have our hands full too. So I just want to, I think we're all on the same page. We want to make sure that we accept projects that we can handle, we can actually add something to, we don't duplicate, and we can help the department move forward.
Yep. And this is Tim, and one of the big takeaways I had from the conversation with John in our subcommittee was that these guys are overwhelmed right now. They're understaffed. Until they get through the budgeting, which I think he said was mid-April, we're not going to get a lot of their time at this point. So I guess we have to have a little patience in what we do next. So there's other things we can do, but I agree. I think it's going to take a little while.
Good point. Any other business? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to close the meeting.
I move.
And a second?
Who was that?
I'll second.
Oh.
Josephine, you okay?
Who was that? Who moved?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Tim Besler moved.
Oh, Tim. Okay.
And Andrew seconded.
Andrew on the second.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
And I haven't met some of you people, so again, I hope we get to WebEx by 8.
Okay, okay. We just ended the meeting, but I'm still on the recording, so that's okay. I'm working on that, guys. I thank you for your patience. I don't have internet, and on my computer, my Apple computer, I have to hook it to the Apple iPhone, and it's very cumbersome. So that's why I'm holding this meeting at one of the firehouses. So I have to figure out how we're going to do this other thing, and I'm going to work on that this week.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you.